the allegations are not true. It's been quite an astounding week in the news. What are your general thoughts and feelings about the allegations, and just share with us a little bit about when you heard the news and what you thought of it?
Well, Amy, I think everybody has to be a little shocked. It's one of those things that happens that on occasion, and rare occasion, that you don't want to hear about, you don't expect, and so when it does, it's certainly unanticipated. And I think the immediate reaction goes to the people who were involved. As I said in a statement that I made when I first heard about it, which was Wednesday of this week, that this is all about Eric Massa and his family, and certainly our hearts have to be there, and our prayers have to be with him. And when you're talking about a devastating illness like cancer, most all of us in our families, either close or really not too distant, have experienced somebody having cancer, and they know how debilitating the disease can be, humiliating for the person who gets it is, and how really difficult it is. My father died of cancer, as a matter of fact. And so most all of us have touched. And you have to have a great deal of sympathy for anybody who is facing that. Now, we've known since Eric Massa's appearance here, really, on the political scene, that he had this illness, and he made mention of it and actually used it in his campaigns to say, look, I was forced with this, and because of that, health care has been a major issue of mine, and I want to see that available to everybody. And so, of course, as an opponent to Eric in 2 elections, know that he's a fighter. And as I said, I hope that with his tenacity, that he'll in fact face the disease straight up and beat it once again. And that's, I think, most people wish other people who are facing traumatic kinds of circumstances well. And I certainly do, and still do. Now, as to the other allegations, well, at this point, I don't know that they're true or they're not, and quite frankly, I don't think it makes any difference because what has happened since I first learned of his statement that he was not going to run for re-election is that he now has resigned effective on Monday. And so what's behind that, as far as I'm concerned, is a personal thing. I hope that he is able to get with his family because the kind of national scrutiny that he has gone under in the last 3 or 4 days has got to cause some disruptions and some uncomfortableness between he and his wife and his kids and other people that are close to him. And that's something that he personally has to work out. But, that it's not going to affect any of us personally, and I wish him well in that. I just think that he's got a tremendous hurdle to overcome. And as I say, the allegations, I think that they're of no consequence at this point because he's no longer in office as of Monday. He's made the resignation and submitted it, and so all of a sudden, I think we that was the right decision, in my opinion, because it was going to be terribly disruptive to conducting business for him and certainly in the district. And the district needs a representative. We need somebody to talk up what is important to the people in the district here. We need somebody to concentrate on job creation, the economy. We're all suffering. And when you see counties like we have reporting double-digit unemployment rates, that's not good. And that really puts people in our communities, whether it's the local farmer, the local merchant, the individual, the professionals, all of those people, it puts them at risk and really causes some real strain that we're not used to, and certainly I think we're entitled to better. So for him to remove himself from that process and that distraction, I think was the right thing to do. And now we have to look to the sequence. Okay, what happens from here? The 29th congressional district will be without a voice, without a representative, because there is no, in current law in New York and in the nation, the House of Representatives has always been known as the People's House. And the People's House because the only members there are members there because of an election. You cannot appoint any member to the House of Representatives, a governor or a president or anybody can't do that. Now, the Senate, the U.S. Senate's different than that, and we've experienced that in New York, certainly with Hillary Clinton going into the Obama administration, then the appointment of a U.S. Senator to take her place. And then it will become an election up. But the House is different. So until there's an election, we don't have any representative. And what we need to do is to think seriously, are we going to have a special election to fill that void, or is there going to be an election this coming fall, which would leave us without representation until actually November?
Right, and the consensus is that the governor will call for a special election. And on that note, you were beat by Eric Massa, and I was just discussing with Tom Reed and as well as some of the people here at the station that I think a lot of what Massa won on was the anti-incumbency movement, the Obama hope and change mantra. Not so much against conservatism, but just kind of a distaste, if you will, for incumbency. So on that note, if and you've said you plan on running and coming back as our congressman.
I haven't said that. I haven't said that at this point.
At this point, you are considering it. You are seriously considering it.
Let's not take it to the next step yet. There's a lot involved. And keep in mind, this whole story is only about 72 hours old. If you want to stop and think about it, this all came down Wednesday afternoon, and the first report was that Eric Massa was not going to run for re-election. Okay, and so. Then the question is, it's not about a special election because there's no vacancy. It's just, okay, now who are going to be the candidates?
Right.
And then you're talking about, okay, what's the normal process? Well, the normal process would be for the people who are interested in the campaign and running would be, say, okay, let's get an organization together and you start the process, and then you go in June and start circulating petitions and get your 1,200 signatures on a petition, file that, and then you get on the ballot for a primary, which would happen in September, and then if you're successful there, you go to November. So there's some time going there. Now, that's all changed within the last 24 hours when Eric Massa resigned, effective on Monday. So there will be a vacancy. That vacancy will be declared, and then the question comes, is it going to be the right thing to do to have a special election? Now, I believe it is, because I hate to see the 29th District go without a voice. But the people in Washington, when you start to think about it, now this is where the strategy starts to come in. The people in Washington may think differently. You have a Democratic majority down there, and their number one item is adopting a health care bill. And the general public, as you've seen and reported in the polls, is not liking what the bill that's come before the House and was before the Senate, and are rejecting that. And you saw that